Well, hello, Stacey Murphy here with a quick video on one of the most economical ways that I know how to use about 6 linear feet of sunny space. So if you're somebody who wants to garden and maybe you don't have a lot of sun where you are, maybe you have a really short growing season, one of the most economical things that you can grow are herbs. So if you take a look behind me, my mom's herb garden here, the growing season here in northern Michigan is very short. She arrives sometime in June and she leaves sometime in September or October. So she needs to grow something that's fast and that she can get a lot of and that, is beautiful as well, right? And so herbs are the perfect thing. And one of the main reasons why I think that herbs are the most economical things you can grow. So this week alone, with these plants here, what I harvested was about $30 worth of herbs with the different meals that we cooked. And the plants are still really lush, and next week she's going to be able to harvest just as much. So imagine $30 a week at least in herbs, and then versus going out to the grocery store and buying those same herbs. Here you invest in the plants, you invest maybe once in the pots and once in the potting mix, and then you're basically set for the season. It's as simple as that. Herbs are one of the easiest things to grow. So I wanted to show you just a little bit about these different herbs, and first I'm going to start with the oregano, which is just a little bit out of the camera right now. And the oregano I used last night. I was making some veggie burgers, and oregano grows like a weed. So if it's not in a pot, it will actually grow out as a tendril. It'll reroot itself and it'll keep growing. So when you cut oregano, you can basically just cut it anywhere and it just continues to grow. All right, so that's oregano. Then she's got some rosemary, again, just off camera here. And the other day I made sauerkraut with the oregano. I used some California orange peels that I had brought from California, and then I used rosemary, so we have some bi-regional sauerkraut forming, and I bought some cabbage at the farmer's market. So the rosemary, very simple to grow. It's a Mediterranean herb. It doesn't need a whole lot of water. Similar, the oregano doesn't need a whole lot of water. And with the rosemary, you can just cut it wherever, and I would recommend a couple inches cutting off the top. And what's cool is that the lower stems will just grow into more stems. So you can really cut it anywhere and it'll keep growing back. Just don't cut it all the way down to the ground because it does have to photosynthesize at some point. And then next pot over you can see here is the sage. Look at this giant sage leaf. Isn't that beautiful? So this particular plant, what I did, I used it along with the mint, which is over here hiding a little bit. I used the sage and the mint together to make a red lentil, not really a stew, but a red lentil dish with sage and mint. It's one of my favorite combinations, so delicious. And then I used some other spices as well in there, and I used some lemon to make it a little bit sparkly. It was very delicious. Oh, I used some tomatoes to make it a little bit sweet. So that was a really delicious dish. And with sage, what you want to do to cut it is you just want to cut the top. So this little guy at the top, if I cut this off, more and more is going to grow off the bottom. Every time you cut it, it splits and it grows. Basically, as the main stem grows, then it splits and 2 more plants grow. So every time you cut it, it doubles itself. So you really want to cut these tops so that the plant can continue to grow. And then basil is that same type of plant. You want to cut it so that more can grow. And I have a video on my channel called How to Maximize Your Basil Harvest. I highly recommend you go and watch that. It's an amazing video, got lots of comments. And so what I'm going to do here today is I'm just basically going to pull off, see how it's flowering? This is the start of the flowers on the basil. So I'm just going to pull off the flowers so that more basil will grow, so that the plant doesn't start to all go to seed. I'm just going to pull off these flowers because I have a little salad here and I just want a little extra zing on top. So I have my tomatoes here from the farmer's market. It's a beautiful black Krim tomato. And I'm just going to take these little seed buds and I'm going to drop them right on the salad. I can even take and just like break it up with my fingers a little bit And that's going to add some flavor to those tomatoes. And I'll do that in just a minute once I get off camera, and I'll show you the end result. And then here I've got my parsley. And parsley is different than the type of crop where it splits in two. You harvest it and it splits in two. Parsley is more of like a mound crop. You want to cut those outer leaves, the big leaves first. And then the inner leaves, let's see if we can find some in here. The inner leaves are these tiny little guys down here, and as long as you cut the outer leaves, the inner leaves will keep growing. So I used the parsley. Again, I was making those veggie burgers. I used actually some oregano and some parsley together in those. And then I talked about the mint. Behind me is some thyme that my mom hadn't yet put into a bigger pot. This could be a very potentially large plant. Every time you cut it, it's woody. It just keeps growing more. So you can basically just grab it anywhere. Grab one of these long tendrils, cut it down here, and it will just keep growing. And oh my gosh, it smells so good. And then one more plant. My mom bought me this before I got here, was this dill plant. She bought it because I told her I wanted to make some sauerkraut that was kind of dilly. And so this is like tons of different plants all in one. If you can see this, let's see if I can show you this. I don't know if I can. Ooh, I just got some in my eye. But this is a lot of different plants. I would recommend transplanting this into something bigger so that these can really get bigger. With dill, what you want to do is, it's kind of like parsley, is if you cut the big leaves, the smaller leaves are going to grow in behind it. So that's essentially how to harvest your veg or your herbs, and then what different dishes to put them in. And so with just 6 linear feet of space, you can grow, dozens of dollars of herbs in each and every week. And that to me is a huge deal, because if I were to go to the market or to the farmer's market, really herbs are the more expensive thing out there when you can just get them almost free. Once you invest in the pot and the potting mix, after the first harvest, after that, you're basically getting free herbs for the rest of the season. So that's a bit about herbs, and that's why it's one of the most economical things you can plant in a small sunny spot. It's easy. Go get to it and let me know what your favorite herbs are below this video and what you enjoy cooking with them. All right, I'll see you in the next video.